The pills dull the ache but not the fear. You swallow them, and for a moment, the edge softens. But when the night falls, your mind begins its merciless work, rehearsing disasters that haven't happened, replaying failures you can't erase. The headaches come back. The chest feels like a fist you can't unclench. The fatigue sinks so deep that no amount of coffee can lift you. And the cruelest part? You start to wonder if this is simply who you are now, trapped in a body that betrays you, chained to a mind that won't rest. But what if the body isn't your enemy? What if every spasm, every sleepless night, every racing heartbeat is not random suffering, but a coded message? Ancient Zen teachings whisper, the body is the mind made visible. When the waters of the mind are disturbed, the shores of the body are the first to break. That pounding head, a thought you refuse to release, that ache in your spine, the weight of a responsibility you never put down. Your body doesn't lie. It never has. Here's the promise. Before this journey ends, you'll see how small, almost invisible shifts, shifting your attention, planting a new thought, lengthening a single breath, sinking into silence, can rewrite your inner chemistry. Pain softens, sleep deepens. Balance returns, not by fighting your body, but by listening to it, not by numbing, but by befriending. Right now, try one small act of rebellion against the chaos. Inhale slowly for 4, hold softly for 2, exhale fully for 6. Whisper to yourself, I can be medicine to myself. Before we learn how to change the waves, we must first learn to read them. Let's see how your body has been speaking to you all along. 1. The body is a barometer, reading the signals. Every symptom is a sentence. The body does not speak in words, but it never stops speaking. The problem is that most of us have forgotten how to listen. Instead, we silence the body with pills, distractions, or sheer denial. But what if your headache is not a random inconvenience, but a carefully written note from within? What if your stomach ache is a telegram your soul has been sending for years? Think of your body as a barometer, constantly reporting on your inner weather. A tight jaw, that's the storm of gripping thoughts you never put down. Shallow breath, a mind racing ahead, desperate to catch up with an imagined future. Knots in the gut, those are the shadows of unspoken fears. And that aching back, it's the quiet protest of burdens you've been carrying alone, long past their weight limit. Zen masters compared the body to a mirror. One story tells of a student who complained about the dust clouding his reflection. The teacher gently reminded him, before blaming the glass, wipe your own face. The message is clear. The body only reflects what the mind projects. When the mirror shows strain, it is the mind's dust that needs clearing. Consider the signals. Head and neck pain often echoes rumination. The endless what-ifs and merciless self-critique that weigh like stones. The chest tightens when we betray ourselves for approval, when unresolved grief lingers like smoke, when anxiety about tomorrow makes it hard to breathe today. The gut clenches when boundaries are crossed, when safety feels uncertain, when decisions freeze us between fear and desire. These are not punishments. They are pointers. They ask not, how do I get rid of this? But what is this trying to show me? And that simple reframe is the mini reward. Discomfort becomes information. Right now, choose one tense place in your body. Place your hand gently there. Whisper to it, what do you need me to know? Then listen, not with your mind, but with your feeling. Maybe an image rises, maybe a word, just a quiet sadness you've ignored. That is your body speaking. The beauty is this. Once you stop fighting the symptom, it begins to soften. Once you treat pain as a messenger, it loosens its grip. For the body never wanted to harm you. It only wanted to be heard. And once we can read these signals, the question naturally arises, how do we soften their source? The answer lies in the thoughts that sculpt your very chemistry. 2. Thought patterns as medicine. Replace poison with kindness. A single harsh thought can tighten a muscle. A gentle one can loosen it. Think about that for a moment. How many times have you told yourself, "I'm broken," and felt your chest clench even tighter? Or whispered in frustration, "It's always like this," and felt your shoulders sag under the weight of hopelessness? The words you speak inside are not harmless. They are instructions your body obeys. Zen masters often remind us, thoughts are like seeds. Whatever you water, grows. If you plant fear and doubt, they sprout into tension and fatigue. If you plant compassion, the body slowly bends toward healing. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens. Just as a field of wildflowers can reclaim dry soil, gentle thoughts can reclaim a weary body. The first step is to catch the toxic headlines. They usually sound like final verdicts. "I can't handle it." "Something is wrong with me." "It will never change." Notice how absolute those words are, how they shut the door on possibility. In Zen, the danger is not that the door is locked, but that we forget to even try opening it. So how do we unlock? By swapping those judgments for compassionate truths. Instead of "I'm broken," try "I'm recalibrating." Instead of "this will always be my life," say "this is a moment, not forever." Instead of "I can't handle it," whisper, "I can meet this breath, this step, this moment." Suddenly your body loosens, not because the situation vanished, but because the language stops strangling you. Of course, there are days when positivity feels fake, when jumping straight to love feels impossible. That is where bridge thoughts become medicine. A student once confessed to his Zen teacher, "I hate this body, it betrays me." The teacher simply replied, "Then begin by saying, 'I am learning to support this body.'" A bridge is not the destination, but it takes you across. Even a small shift in phrasing can reduce the weight you've been carrying. And here lies the mini reward. The body responds immediately. When your words soften, your jaw eases a little. When your tone shifts, your shoulders drop an inch. When your inner language changes, the belly no longer knots as tightly. These micro relaxations are proof that thoughts sculpt the body. You don't need to believe in magic. Your nervous system is already listening. Try this micro practice. Write down one thought that haunts you. Perhaps it is, "I will never heal." Now rewrite it into a kinder version. "My body is learning, slowly, to heal." Finally, read it aloud, but with a longer exhale. Notice how the word "slowly" carries patience, how the longer breath carries release. This is thought alchemy, turning poison into medicine. Zen stories often remind us that transformation begins with the smallest shift. A master once said, "One kind word can warm 3 winters." If kindness spoken aloud can warm a stranger, imagine what kindness whispered inward can do for your weary body. But kind thoughts, like seeds, need fertile soil. And fertile soil is not found in noise, judgment, or rushing. It is found in stillness, the quiet field where real repair happens. 3. Stillness protocol, where the body repairs itself. Silence isn't empty. It's where your cells remember what to do. When was the last time you gave your body permission to stop fighting, stop running, stop carrying the noise of the world? Many of us mistake stillness for laziness, quiet for uselessness. But the truth is, the body repairs itself not in the storm of striving, but in the gentle pause between breaths. Zen masters often use the image of a pond. When the wind blows, the surface ripples, and nothing beneath can be seen. But when the wind stops, the water clears, and suddenly fish and pebbles reveal themselves. Your mind is no different. When thoughts whip like winds, your body is trapped in turbulence. But when silence settles, the natural order returns. Digestion softens, the heartbeat steadies, sleep becomes possible. Let's make this concrete. Before every meal, try a small pause. Just 1 minute. Place your feet firmly on the ground, breathe slowly 3 times, and thank the food before you. It's not about religion or ritual. It's about shifting your nervous system. A monk once said grace before eating, not to please the heavens, but to remind his body. Now is a time of nourishment, not fear. And in that moment, the body opens to receive. In the evening, practice a pocket of quiet, 5 to 10 minutes. No fixing, no searching. Sit, let the sounds of the world pass like clouds. A barking dog, a passing car, a restless thought. Let them come, let them go. This is not control, it is surrender. And in that surrender, you will feel something subtle. The body moving from fight into rest. That click is not imagined. It is your cells lowering their shields, finally remembering how to heal. Throughout the day, weave in micro resets. A sigh is let out through the mouth when the weight feels unbearable. A palm placed over the heart until its rhythm steadies. These are not small gestures. They are reminders to your body. You are safe here. You can soften. Monks knew this centuries ago. Silence was never an absence. It was medicine. And what changes when you live this way? Sleep deepens. Digestion flows without knots. Pain that once shouted becomes a whisper. Your body stops being a battlefield and starts becoming a home. This is the quiet gift of stillness. It doesn't add anything new. It removes what blocks the natural flow. The reward comes quickly. One evening, you'll notice your shoulders sink lower than usual. One night, your sleep will carry you further. One meal will feel lighter. And in that moment, you will know. Stillness is not empty. It is the language your body has been waiting for. And when stillness deepens, something else rises with it. Gratitude. And gratitude, once seen, changes everything your body practices all day. 4. Rituals that rewire. Gratitude, breath, movement, and food. Your daily rituals are prescriptions you write for yourself. Every choice, every small act, is either a drop of poison or a drop of medicine. Too many of us wait for doctors, pills, or miracle cures, while forgetting that the most powerful pharmacy is built into the rhythm of our own days. Monks have known this for centuries. They do not separate prayer from breath or health from habit. To them, the way you sit, the way you eat, even the way you walk is a living prescription. Gratitude is the first ritual, and it costs nothing. Even on nights when you are tired, when the day feels heavy, you can still gather 3 specific things to thank for. Not vague gestures, but concrete. The warmth of tea on your lips, the laughter you overheard, the softness of a pillow beneath your head. A Zen master once said that gratitude is not about denying suffering. It is about training the eyes to also see what carries you. And slowly, attention learns to collect calm instead of chaos. Breath is the second ritual. Your breath is not just oxygen. It is a switch that tells your body whether you are in danger or at peace. Try the 4-2-6 rhythm whenever tension spikes. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. The longer exhale is a message to your nervous system. You are safe now. Monks sitting in mountain caves have long practiced this, turning storms of thought into streams of stillness. Each breath becomes a gate back into balance. Gentle movement is the third ritual. Your body is not a machine, it is a garden, and joints are the hinges of its gates. Treat them with reverence. Just 5 or 10 minutes after meals or upon waking, move with kindness. Walk slowly, stretch softly, bow lightly as monks do in the temple. This is not an exercise for vanity, it is circulation for vitality. The body thrives not in force, but in flow. Mindful eating is the fourth ritual. So many of us rush through food, gulping down guilt or distraction. But the first bite, taken in silence, has the power to reset everything. Chew until the flavor fades. Let the tongue, teeth, and stomach know they are not in a war, but in a feast. A monk with only a bowl of rice savors each grain as if it were a universe. When guilt is replaced by savoring, digestion becomes lighter, and food becomes a friend instead of a foe. What happens when you weave these rituals together? Energy stabilizes. Instead of the wild spikes and crashes of stress and sugar, you feel steady, anchored. There is a hum beneath your day, not a roar. You stop being pulled apart by chaos because your rituals keep stitching you back together. And this is the true mini reward, realizing that you do not need to wait for healing to arrive. It is already being written in the script of your breath, your meals, your movements, your gratitude. These rituals are the quiet scaffolding that hold you steady when storms come. But rituals, as powerful as they are, must be protected. A garden blooms only if you guard its soil. The next step is learning to tend the energy you keep, the boundaries you hold, and the world you let inside. 5. Energy hygiene, boundaries, nature, and your inner weather. What you allow around you becomes what you carry within you. This truth is sharper than any pill, deeper than any diagnosis. Think of the last time you left a room heavy, not because of what you said, but because of the storm you walked into. Energy is contagious. If you don't learn to protect yours, you end up breathing in other people's fires until your lungs forget what peace feels like. Boundaries are the first act of healing. Saying, "This doesn't work for me anymore," is not cruelty, it is medicine. A Zen master once told a student who feared disappointing others, "A tree does not apologize for its roots reaching down instead of up." Boundaries are your roots. They keep you nourished. They stop you from bending until you break. Every time you draw a line with kindness and clarity, you are not shutting someone out. You are keeping your life aligned with truth. Nature is the second shield. The body remembers how to calm down when it remembers the pace of the earth. Bare feet on grass, a hand pressed against bark, sky gazing for just 3 minutes. These are not luxuries, they are lifelines. Monks have always walked slowly under trees, letting the rustle of leaves train their minds to move at the pace of seasons, not seconds. Your nervous system longs to borrow that rhythm. The earth is steady, you can be too. But boundaries in nature mean little if you poison your mind with constant noise. This is why your media diet matters. How much of your exhaustion comes not from your life, but from the endless loop of outrage, disaster, and noise you scroll through each night? If monks guarded the gates of their monasteries, you must guard the gates of your attention. Curate what enters. Choose words, sounds, and images that match the health you are building, not the chaos you are escaping. And then there are the people. This is your human weather system. Some hearts are steady like mountains, others burn like wildfires. Ask yourself, who steadies my breath and who steals it? Spend more time with those who carry peace like a fragrance, less with those who drip acid into every conversation. Compassion does not mean proximity. You can love people without living in their storms. Here lies the big reward. Your life itself becomes a living monastery. You no longer need to escape to retreats or distant mountains. Your home, your habits, your friendships, your inner pace, all of it becomes a sanctuary that protects you, heals you, and keeps you well. Imagine waking each day in an environment that holds you like prayer instead of draining you like poison. That is possible. It begins with what you allow in. And here's a simple blessing, a seed you can carry anywhere. May my presence bring ease to this room. Whisper it before you enter your home, a meeting, or even a stranger space. This is energy hygiene at its highest, not just protecting your peace, but radiating it. You've gathered the keys, signals, thoughts, stillness, rituals, and energy. Now it is time to lock in the change with a clear promise to yourself. Zen stories are not just tales, they are mirrors for your life. They are not entertainment to pass the time. They are lanterns to light the path when everything feels dark. Each story we've walked through is a reminder that freedom, peace, and clarity have never been outside of you. They are already here, waiting beneath the noise. Think about what you've just witnessed, the overflowing cup that taught you to let go of what's already too heavy. The monks carrying the woman, showing how suffering lingers only when you refuse to release it. The master's silence proves that not every insult deserves a reply. The impossible koan of one hand clapping, which shattered logic to reveal wonder. And the moon that can never be stolen, a reminder that your soul is untouchable. These aren't old fables from distant monks. They are messages for you. For the sleepless nights when your thoughts won't let you rest. For the mornings when life feels heavier than you can carry. For the moments you forget that peace is still possible. So let me ask you, which story touched you most deeply and why? Was it the silence, the release, the freedom of the moon? Write it in the comments, share it with others. Let's turn these teachings into living wisdom, not forgotten words. And if these stories spoke to your heart, don't keep them to yourself. Like this video, share it with a friend who is struggling. Subscribe to keep walking this journey of healing and awakening together. May these stories live inside you, quietly guiding you back to peace whenever life feels heavy. And may you never forget, the wisdom you seek has always been yours.